this, Kim.
All right, so
What are we starting with?
Well, yeah.
well, I know I'm trying to figure out how to not be in the camera's way and or not be in your way.
Boom. Innovation.
Just go.
Okay? All right, so what do we got? Shear, what do you do?
Sure, you do with the compression.
Pads on clavicle and spinal scap.
Yep, we're gonna go like this, right?
Squeeze together.
And squeeze together, so I'm looking for increased anterior posterior motion compared to the other side. What would that be?
AC
Basically.
A grade 1 sprain of the AC joint, right? Good? What's not in there is what I showed you guys you could do just to check for sure about a step where you pull the arms down. That's not actually a test at all, but pull the arms down if you want to see if you get more of a step. Okay, and then what's our next one? AC compression, which would be either for just to see if the AC joint is aggravated, because when you cross it, the clavicle rolls, so if you sprain ligaments, it's going to hurt, right? This would also work for the disc, right? Because this would also, all I do is do what? I take her like this, and I compress. I just cross chest and compress. Right? Okay? So, our general ones, which this is why I said I feel like I ought to change the order and do the general ones first. Although if somebody had just sprained their AC joint, I wouldn't be doing these general ones. So general ones, what do we do? What do we tell them to do? Aptly scratch. I tell her to reach as far as she can. So she covers her distal phalanxes. Go the other way. Ooh, she still got there. Oh, and she covers her middle and distal. She goes a little farther this way. So this one can internally rotate pretty good. And, are you a lefty? Okay. So usually they're restricted where? Their throwing arm or their overhead, like their hitting arm in volleyball, is usually has greater external but limited internal, right? That circle concept, they usually get greater external. So that's usually what you're going to see. So I can do aptly scratch, and then what else can I do to see about the motion in the glenohumeral joint?
Load and shift.
Load and shift. So I'm going to use, once again, I'm kind of going to use the clavicle and the scapula here. So what do? I grab her humeral head, I kind of load it so that it's centered in the middle of the glenoid. Then I pull forward, see how far she comes. I recenter it, and I push backwards. Should we have the camera on this side?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
It'd probably be easier to do my other shoulder. Oh, sure.
Don't move your shit, bro.
Can you do the load and shift again?
Okay, so I'm going to grab the humeral head, load it, so it'd be like this. I'm grabbing the humeral head, I'm pushing it into the glenoid, loading it in to get it centered, and then I'm shifting, and then I go back to the center and I shift back, right? So it's just what it says, load and shift. I'm gonna load it in so that it's centered, and then pull forward, see how far she goes, load it in, and push backwards. See how much she comes forward, see how much she goes backwards. She comes forward more than backwards, which most of us do, especially if you've been in athletics. You're looser in the front, tighter in the back. That's why we end up with sleeper stretch and everything on players, okay? So there's our load and shift and our applies. Okay, what do we do for our MDI?
Sulcus.
Sulcus. So what do I do here? I just take and I pull down and I look for a sulcus. I look for that dip.
The drop, right?
Drop off of the end of the acromion, right? So under where the, the humeral head's up under the acromion, right? So I look for a drop under there. You guys had that picture in your book. You got a sulcus signed picture in your book. Okay? But sulcus isn't really that accurate. So what's our other one?
Higgins.
So Figan, I just put them like this and pull down on the, what am I pulling on? The humerus. I'm pulling down on the humerus and seeing if it comes down. That's a more accurate MDI test. Are they really loose? Because why? Now when I got them up like this, the lower capsule is tight, right?
So with Higgins, are we still looking for a sulcus?
Yes. I'm still looking for a sulcus to appear. Okay, that's our MDI ones, our multi-directional, those really loosey-goosey people. Okay, now we go to anterior instability. Just flip your feet down there, head up here. Now we go to anterior instability. What's our first test for anterior instability?
Apprehension.
Apprehension. Where do I put them? I put them exactly in the direction
Maybe
that they would have dislocated, right? I bring them up here, an abduction, and I start externally rotating. What's a positive test?
They get apprehensive.
They get apprehensive. What else is this test?
For impingement.
It's impingement. So I might take them back and they go, huh? I go, which thing is it? Now I try to figure out which one it is. So I can do Job relocation. What I do on Job relocation, I basically get in their pit, hold the humeral head, and I start going back. Now, if it was apprehension, what can I do?
Now you can move it back further.
Now I can really go back and they don't get scared.
The other one is like with your thumb or something, you hold it, right?
That's fulcrum.
Fulcrum. So for this, think about it. So now I'm holding them in the joint, so now I can go back and they don't get scared.
Where are you
And
holding
if
them?
they,
I'm holding them in their pit. I'm holding the humeral head in the joint.
and if they still have pain.
If they have pain, if it's impingement, they're going to get pain even earlier, right? Because now I'm jamming it up under the acromion. Okay? So then, what else can I do to confirm? I can do fulcrum. Now, if they are a dislocator, what's going to happen when I start going? So what's going to happen really early?
Apprehension.
They're going to get apprehensive really early, right? Because look at what I'm doing. I'm pulling that baby forward out. So now they're going to, whoa, hey, whoa, okay. That's far enough, right? But what else is this test?
Instability. Oh, impingement relief.
Impingement relief, right? So if their problem is impingement, now what happens?
Now they can keep going.
Now I can go and I'm not impinging up under the acromion.
What part are you holding there? Are you pushing to?
Well, here,
Yeah.
I'm under her humeral head.
Okay.
Is this
I am.
for the relocation still?
No, this is, so look what I'm doing now. I'm pushing her humeral head towards the dislocation. Relocation, I'm relocating it in. Fulcrum, I'm pushing it out. So, talking just about apprehension, right? She gets apprehensive. Relocation, now she doesn't get apprehensive, I can go all the way back. Fulcrum,
You get apprehensive again.
now she gets apprehensive really early. Talking about them just for impingement, this is impinges, right? Impinges, impingement relief. You good with that? You with me with that?
So for Job relocation, does it have anything to do with like would they would get impinged sooner? Or no? Or is it
Yes.
Okay.
So if when I'm doing that, if it was impingement, it would hurt sooner.
Okay.
So, you know what I wanted to point out to you guys? Loose packed position of the shoulder. find that in your book there. Let's see.
Might be at the beginning, right?
Might be, look in the beginning, and I'm gonna look back in the active.
For the glenohumeral joint, the resting position is 40 to 55 degrees of abduction,
And,
30 degrees of horizontal abduction.
okay, so, I want to point this out to you guys. Oh yeah, it's way back in the beginning. So in your little, it's a little green box. 40 to 55 degrees of abduction, 30 degrees of horizontal adduction.
So that's all in one movement? So like,
That is about 50 to 55 degrees of abduction and
30 degrees of horizontal.
our plainest caption. So it's about, so here's 90, right? Here's 90. That'll be over in here. Here's 90. Here's 45. 0, 45, 90. So about 55 and 30. So the reason I want to point this out is because where do you think we're going to do the drawer? Yeah. We're going to do it in the loose pack position, the resting position. Okay? Now, he tells you this complicated way to do posterior drawer. We aren't doing that. No, stay there.
Yeah, sit there.
Lay down.
Okay.
So, where do we do drawer tests?
Resting.
Loose pack position. We're going to just do them both in the same position. Okay? So he has this complicated way to the drawer. We're just going to do them both in the same position. Okay? Drawer. I'm going to grab her arm under my arm. So put her arm up here under my upper arm so I can grab it. And where do I want her? I want her, come over here a little farther. I want her about 55 degrees abduction and about 30 degrees horizontal add, so in the plainest caption.
How many degrees horizontal?
Horizontal 30. So we're coming up, so we're in the plainest caption, in the plane of the scapula. Okay? You guys ready? This is real, it's real simple. So I got to get her up high enough where I'm in the plane of the scapula. What am I going to do for anterior drawer?
Push down.
Anterior.
Oh, push up.
I'm gonna, so I'll put my pads on her clavicle, grab her humeral head, and
Sorry. God was there.
Thanks, Zach.
yeah, Zach, you're not allowed to move your computer.
Can we start the class over again now?
Right back.
Okay, so anterior drawer. Now what am I gonna do for that's anterior? What am I gonna do for posterior? I'm gonna grab her scapula and go and shove the humeral head backwards. That's anterior posterior drawer.